It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the full shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
I'm Wayne Miller.
This is It's Movie Time.
It is. And John, who is this beauty right here?
Okay, she has a wig on.
Yes,
red
she
wig.
does.
Can't hide her beauty.
No. And what's so funny is she's a Southern California girl. I saw her interviewed last week on Jimmy Kimmel's show, and she talks about affecting the British accent in this movie.
Okay, so let's tell people who she is.
Oh, well, it's Blake Lively.
Blake Lively, and the film is
The Rhythm Section.
Yeah. Referring to.
I don't know what
it's the balance between breathing and your heart rate.
That's right.
You get the rhythm right.
I was thinking she was like playing drums.
I know. You would think that. But
yeah, you're right.
But Jude Law, an effective underground M16 agent,
yes,
teaches her the bad stuff.
Yes.
Because she's out to get blood, man.
I always wonder if Jude Law would have made a very good James Bond.
That's a good idea.
He comes across very well as a super spy in this.
Now. Fuck. I'm not getting any. Da 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 da. Yeah, it looks like I got it. Sorry about that.
You want to try me again?
Yeah, you go ahead.
It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the full shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
Okay. Pretty sure that that's good.
And you can cut out the right.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay, from the top.
Yep.
It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the full shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
I'm Wayne Miller.
This is It's Movie Time.
It is.
And who's this on our video portion?
I think it looks like, is it Betty Page, the old pinup from the 40s?
That's right, it looks like it.
It does, but it's actually Blake Lively in the rhythm section.
What is that, the rhythm section?
Well, I don't think she's playing drums.
All right, there's a balance that you if you're going to be an assassin.
Yes.
There's a balance you have to have between your breathing and your heart rate.
Yes.
And that's the rhythm section. Taught by Jude Law as an M16 operative.
Yeah, and he does very good. John, as I was watching this, that I wondered if he would have made a very good James Bond at one time.
I think that's a great suggestion.
Because the guy, he has a physicality for it,
yep.
but also the wry sense of humor,
yep.
dry wit, and also a gravitas about
yep.
the guy
yep.
that is very good.
I don't think he's done anything memorable since Ripley, though.
I don't know. I liked him actually as Dr. Watson in the Robert Downey Jr.
And he's coming back. They're coming back again.
Are they really?
I
was kind of wondering about that because it just didn't take off quite as much as a franchise. But now that Downey's done with Iron Man and the Marvel stuff, the Avengers stuff, so, who knows?
Well, talking about avenging, we've got a very vengeful lady here in Blake Lively's Stephanie, based upon on the novels of Mark. Based on the novels of Mark Burnell.
Yes.
Stephanie is the protagonist.
Yes. And she pulls off a British accent and a British sense of being about her for a California girl. Because I saw her last week on Jimmy Kimmel's show being interviewed, and she was talking about how she really had to work hard at not just perfecting an accent, but just the way of walking and the attitude. I thought she was quite good in this role.
Look, she is this movie. Now, a critic whom I like, Mike LaSalle from the San Francisco Chronicle, says she is this movie. He gave her such praise for this movie. I have to look at it because we rarely open ourselves up like that as critics.
Well, and I kept kind of looking. I think the one thing I kept thinking about was the movie, I think, with Charlize Theron, Atomic Blonde.
Oh, yes.
Kind of assassin in disguise. But in this, there was the one thing that I kept thinking, did it really ring true, and that was her vulnerability. How could she really kind of win over some of these people? But I think it's maybe because of her vulnerability.
Well, you're right, because doesn't Jude Law's character warns her that she'll always be this. As much as he teaches her about defense and offense, he says you always do that. So you're right to pick up on that. And in fact, it's a good contrast between her and Atomic Blonde, because she is not atomic in this.
No, and then she makes some mistakes. She still leads by her heart,
which is what I like about it.
Yes, and quite convincingly as this heroin-addicted prostitute. And as good as Blake is in this, I would have liked a little bit more backstory. Obviously, we get a lot of flashbacks, and of course, the movie's about revenge.
Yeah.
And
because her family has gone down in an explosion in a plane.
Yes,
and she finds out
collateral 238 people died because one person that which was the one confusing element of this movie. Who are these bad guys? What are they doing? They wanted to wipe out somebody, so they blow up a plane over the Atlantic. And her mother, father, brother, and sister, we see a lot of photos, a lot of little flashback clips, and you see a very fresh-faced, young-looking, beautiful Blake Lively in those. And then you're introduced to her as this bruised up, with running sores all over her and her face.
Well, I'll tell you, you mentioned something that annoyed me about the film, was these soft focus flashbacks.
Oh.
Jesus, give me enough of these.
With her and her mom and how she's smiling and everything. But John, we did not get a lot. Two things that are mentioned besides her family about her past, and one is that she was a top student at Oxford.
That's right.
And so, but then because the death of her family took place 3 years before we're introduced to her as this heroin prostitute, and so it's kind of like if she had such a loving upbringing, that was her devastation of losing her family, and of course the guilt there, because they changed their vacation plans to suit her, and she still didn't go.
Right,
and so she should have been on the plane.
I'll tell you, you're bringing up questions that I had. First of all, boy, she drops that heroin addict immediately.
Well,
wow, boy, my God. There's recovery for you.
Swimming in a frozen little lake there in the Highlands of Scotland, yes.
And for such a bright girl, I just found it a little bit hard for me to believe. Top student at Oxford, it's like being top student in the world.
Yes.
And I just couldn't quite figure out her complete devastation and loss, even though obviously it's 4 members of her family. So anyway, and we can't expect perfection in the film, particularly when it runs that revenge model.
Yes, yeah. And her disguises were very good. How she interacts with some of the other people in the movie. Like the parents of the guy who whatever this shadow organization wanted to wipe out. I guess he was a progressive a Muslim, and so he was wiped out because of that, and his parents are very rich.
Yes.
And then she goes to them and stuff like that. 2 things about this film, though, John, that made it...
As opposed to the other 10 that you've given.
Yes.
Okay, 2 more.
The 2 top things that would make this movie memorable for me. One was one of the most interesting car chase scenes.
I think you are right.
Because we usually... here, we are... It's almost like all one take in the passenger side of this car. as it's careening around, I think it was Tangiers or
Tangier.
Because the other thing, the movie hops around all over the place.
It does the James Bond thing. Yeah. Actually, the producers are the Broccolis, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, so they clearly want, are hoping to have a franchise with her.
Yeah.
I think they could, because she's smart, she's complicated.
Yeah.
And she's not all just visual. But you're right, the car chase is memorable. Yeah. And when we're talking people who have admired Steve McQueen and the Fast and the Furious.
Yes.
You look at both of those, well known for their car chases.
Yes.
I think you're right.
Well, it's funny because I thought about Bullet, Steve McQueen's memorable, one of the very first, and some people still say the most memorable car chase. And you're in the passenger seat, and this car's getting hit, it's getting shot at, dodging traffic. The other thing that I found very memorable in this movie was the musical soundtrack.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. Everything from the Monkees to Mamas and Papas.
I think, what did they have, Dream a Little Dream of Me?
Yes, with Mama Cass. There was several things in that movie, but I think the soundtrack made it
you're right.
memorable.
Very nice touches.
Yes, not some of the usual stuff, but yet thematically, the music really worked.
I have to praise Reed Marino, the director.
Yes.
She did Handmaid's Tale.
Yes.
She's the director of Handmaid's Tale.
Yes.
So she's got a good provenance here.
Yes.
And Mark Burnell, whom I mentioned before, who did the screenplay, and that's his character from his novels.
Yes.
I'm going to pick up one of his novels. I'd like her as a character.
That would be very good. We would be remiss if we don't talk about a person who is very well known to any TV viewer, and that's Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah, he's had a year.
This Is Us, that he was a TV show that he's memorable in, but also won an Emmy for playing Darden, the prosecutor in the O.J. series. And the guy's very good. And he had that other excellent film that he was almost a very abusive, pushy dad. This past year.
Yeah.
But in this one, he does a good job. The one thing, if people enjoy mysteries and really kind of a complicated, mystery type of element in this movie, would like this one, because there's a big baddie and you don't find out till near the end who it is.
All right, Wayne Miller.
The
film is the rhythm section starring Blake Lively. What grade do you award it?
I'm going to give it a solid B.
And I am too. I knew that's what you were going to give it.
Yeah.
It has its flaws. But at this time of year, remember, years ago, Silence of the Lambs came out at this time of year.
Yes, and I'm very shocked because you always talk about how January and February and March are the dead months.
I know.
And I think of course, the Academy for the Oscars is getting a lot of grief right now because of... not only because of diversity, but particularly for women directors and everything.
Well, just to answer your question, she was pregnant, and they had to put off for that, and she hurt her hand.
Yes, she talked about that on Jimmy Kimmel, that she had to have 2 operations on her hand from this. But anybody and Blake Lively, I think, is somebody almost like a Scarlett Johansson to really kind of watch in the future.
Yep.